Hi, it's Gina Page. I'm the president and co-founder of AfricanAncestry.com. Welcome back to our Facebook Live. It's Wednesday, May 24th. Today's my aunt's birthday. Shout out to Barbara Page. Happy birthday. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. We thought that we'd try something new this time, because many of you have posted and texted us and emailed us that you've seen this medium.com article on ancestry tracing, genetic ancestry tracing, and there's a lot of concern about other companies' terms and conditions and all of that. So we thought we'd take it back to the basics today and talk about genetic ancestry tracing. Why do people do it? You know, why, in particular, why do black people do it? Because that's who we are here to serve, is black people, and that's because we don't know where we come from before the shores of the South or the northern parts of the United States or the Caribbean or wherever. And so I want to talk to you about the top 5 reasons we find that black people trace their genetic ancestry. The first reason, by far, heads and shoulders above everything else, is to better understand who we are. It's just that simple. If you don't know where you're from, then there's a big void in understanding who you are. And, you know, as I say this all the time, as African Americans, we know all about the American. Right? We can say the Pledge of Allegiance, we can sing the Star-Spangled Banner, we can name presidents, all that stuff that makes us American, right? But what do we know about the African? And more specifically, what do we know about the African that makes up who we are? And so when you take a genetic ancestry test from AfricanAncestry.com, that's the only place you need to be coming to anyway, you get an answer to that question on a specific line of your family tree. And so it really helps to put that African in African American into context. We know we're African, but where? Where were we? Were we Senegalese? And more specifically, were we Mandinka or Wolof? Were we Sierra Leonean? Were we Mende or Temne or Limba? Were we Nigerian? Oh my God, you could be Igbo, you could be Yoruba, you could be Hausa, you could be, the list goes on. You could be Cameroonian, you could be Angolan. And so that's what we do. We help you to understand where specifically on the continent your ancestry is found, so that you can then understand, oh, where does this family tradition come from? Why does our family do this? Why do I like these certain things? Why am I drawn to this music? Why am I drawn to these colors, these forms of expressions? So that's reason number 1. The second reason that we find that people use DNA to trace their ancestry, black people use DNA to trace their ancestry, is to educate their children. I mean, come on. How many of you learned a whole lot about Africa? Probably very few of you. And what you learned probably wasn't positive. And even today, you really have to search out and be intentional about finding positive stories about African cultures and communities and cities, because yes, Africa has cities. And so our kids go to school in these multicultural environments, and they have these ancestry days at school, and all the other kids come in and they celebrate Italy and Russia and El Salvador and Mexico and Jamaica and all kinds of countries. And what do our kids do? How many of you moms or dads have gone and grabbed some kente cloth and been like, okay, let's rep Ghana today? Or, you know, asked a neighbor or friend who may be African if you can represent their country. And so this test helps you to be specific. Your kid can walk in there like, yeah, I share ancestry with the Jola people living in Guinea-Bissau today, or my people come from the Pele people in Liberia like Oprah Winfrey does. So yeah, represent Jason shouting out for the Massa people. Okay. And so, yeah, so we find that people are doing this more and more for their kids, and it's empowering. Imagine when your kid now is in a class and they're they can recognize that their history is being left out. And so then they've learned at home who their people were and what that means. They're so much better prepared to handle what they're going to handle in these multicultural classrooms. Okay, number 3, to enhance the family reunion. So it's summertime. Summertime. I can't sing, but that's the song for the summer. And people are having family reunions. Let me shout out if you're going to a family reunion this summer. So if you're going in late July or early August, it's not too late for you to trace your ancestry and take that information to the family reunion. Some families have these huge family trees with all these branches, and they just kind of stop right in Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, Oklahoma, wherever it is, Trinidad, Haiti. You guys come from Africa too. And so you can bring some information about where one of those branches came from before the transatlantic slave trade. So family reunions, that's our number 3 reason. Reason number 4, to travel to Africa. It seems like Africa is on a lot of black people's bucket list, and it doesn't have to be on a bucket list. You can go now, find out where you're from, and you can go to that country. We have a humongous community of people who've taken our tests, who've traveled to the continent, to their countries of origin, and they are a resource for you once you become an African Ancestry family member. We have an online community where you can talk to them. We have partnerships with some of the embassies, so we can help you make those kinds of connections. And we're actually also working with travel partners, and so we may even be taking a trip to the country that you're from, so stay tuned for that. But this is a great time for you to know where you come from so that you can negotiate that bucket list a little bit better. It's really touching when people say they've traveled to the continent and once they got there they just felt like they were home, and imagine when you know that that's where your home is. It's extremely powerful. So we've talked about number 1, people take this test to better understand who they are. Number 2, to educate their kids. Number 3, to enhance the family reunion. You can be the star of the family reunion this year. Number 4, to travel to Africa. And then number 5 is to enhance their genealogy research. So, okay, Robert, you're going to get your DNA test. All right, we'll be waiting for you. You said when you have some funds. And so remember that this is a family project. So if you have brothers and sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, you guys can all pitch in. Get everybody give you $20, $30. And if they won't do that, then you can sell them the results and make your money back. So think about that. You might be able to get that kit sooner than you think. So, but yeah, back to the reason number 5 is to augment genealogy research. And so, we even have people in our office who are really experienced genealogists, and they do spend hours and hours researching the family trees, all the census records and the marriage and birth records and old newspaper articles, family Bibles. All of these are resources for genealogy research. But one of the problems or challenges is that most black people were not recorded in a census until the late 1800s, 1870. Now some black families were recorded in the 1700s and earlier in the 1800s, but most of us were just property with no names, no lives. And so you can go online and go to some of those paid sites with the Leaf or, some of the free sites and look through census records, but eventually you're going to hit a brick wall, however far back you go. And so what these AfricanAncestry.com tests do is reconnect you, cross the bridge from wherever your genealogy research stops to where your family was before the slave trade. So those are the top 5 reasons. We're going to post those PDFs so you can download those and have those. You can click through, How much is the cost, and does one test cover maternal and paternal lineage? So the cost of the test is $299, and you have to choose one or the other. We're going to talk about this in future Facebook Lives, but I'll talk about it now because I think that says Che wants to know, so I want to tell her, or him. I don't have my glasses on. I'm sorry, Che, I can't see your picture. Anyway, if you trace your maternal line and you're a black person, there's a 92% chance that those results are going to be African. So a lot of people start with the maternal line. That represents you, your mother, her mother, her mother, all the way back, your children, your brothers and sisters, their children, and all future generations. So if you want to get started there, and both men and women can take that test. So I would recommend starting with the maternal test, unless you know that your mother's white, your grandmother's Asian, your great-grandmother was a Cherokee with hair down here, you know those stories. Then you might not want to trace that line because you already know it's not going to be African. So then you might want to trace a different line, perhaps the paternal test. The paternal test requires a man. Shout out to the brothers. We need you to take the paternal test. And the chances of finding African results on that are a bit lower. So we only find African results 65% of the time. Oh man, your question went past too fast. I couldn't see it. Do we have a system for what? I'm sorry. If you could repeat that question, I'd be happy to answer it. So please download the PDF, share it with your friends, share it with your other family members, so that you can roll with the top 5 reasons. Okay, Jason, your wife is repping Guinea-Bissau, the Fula people. All right, so she's along the coast, that Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. Yeah, those lineages are all very similar. Thank you for representing. So those are the reasons why people choose us. Some of the other reasons why people choose us is the maternal line enough, or do we need both? You know, that's up to you. I would argue that it is good, but you always can get more information, and the paternal line would give you more. So if you can do both, I definitely would do both, Robert. Bogani is asking me, are you able to trace possible living relatives in Africa? So that's a great question. We can't do that now. The data that we have in the largest database of African lineages in the world, okay, I got you, Saretta. The largest database of lineages in the world was compiled anonymously. So we didn't, just like we don't sell or share your information, we didn't collect their personal information. We just got their genetic information. So today we cannot connect you to living relatives in Africa. Saretta wants to know if we have the system that allows us to link to relatives via DNA. We don't. That may be coming, but let me tell you why we don't. When we launched this company 14 years ago, DNA was brand new. Using DNA at a consumer level was brand new. And it was hard enough for us to convince black folks that we weren't going to sell or share, misuse, be unethical with their genetic information. So if we had said, give us your genetic information, and then we're going to put it in a database so that you can share it with everybody else, we wouldn't be here today. Other companies, as you've seen through recent articles, they're not so caring about your privacy and your confidentiality. Now that we're 14 years in and we've demonstrated for 14 years our credibility, our morals, our ethics, our confidentiality, we can move and expand into areas with your help. So as long as you all tell us that you want to use your DNA to find other people living that you're related to, we're all for it. Yvonne wants to know how much. Yvonne, I bet you think it's like $1,000, don't you? Girl, it doesn't even cost that much. It's only $299 to trace one branch of your family tree, and those results are the same for everybody in the family. So you know, if you've got, I don't know, I did a family reunion one time and 75 people shared the results from one person's test. So enough said about that. Yes, we were before all these other companies. Heck yeah. Haran says, I'm going to do it for my 26th birthday. Happy birthday. Get it done. So those are the top reasons. I wanted to tell you the other reasons we're different. Okay, so the other companies, they're going to tell you how much ancestry you have. They're going to say you're X% African, Y% European, Z% something else. So what? You already know you're African. Does it really matter how African you are? Does it really matter what other ancestries you have? That's not going to help your identity. What you want to know is where in Africa you come from. And any other company that's telling you, you've seen it on television, oh, I found out I was Nigerian and I have this gele, check the numbers. One company has 494 African lineages. The other company has 621. African Ancestry has 33,000. So do you want to know where you're from based on 494 people, 621 people, or 33,000 plus people? You tell me. People who are down with us, they know they want accuracy, they want reliability, and they want specifics. So we're not just going to tell you you're from the Nigeria region, 20% of you is from the Nigeria region. We're going to tell you that you are Igbo from Nigeria, or that you're Bamaleke from Cameroon. We're not hiring right now, but you can send us your resume. Someone asked, can a male from the family take the maternal test? Yes, both men and women can take the maternal test. I want to thank you all for sharing the video too. This is our most shared video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so next Facebook Live, I'm going to talk about the types of DNA that we use. I'm going to break it down a little bit more. How the test methods are different. Like I said, some people give you percentages. I'm going to tell you right now for free. If you're black, you're about 75% Black American. You're about 75% African and 25% European. Still can't get a cab. You still aren't going to get a favorable interest rate. Your neighborhood is still going to get gentrified, and you still may get shot in the back. So if you want to know that, that's about your average. Raphael wants to know if we offer the Y DNA haplogroup. What we offer is better than that. We tell you the people and the place that you share ancestry with. I'm not exactly sure why you want to know the haplogroup. That's kind of a random bit of information. It's not useful. Somebody wants to know, Moises wants to know, would it show in my test if my father's side is white? Yes. If you know that your father's father's father is white, then there's no need to take this test. You probably already know where he's from, or where his people are from. You probably already know, you can use your last name to figure that out. You don't need DNA for that. We don't have services in South Africa, but we use the mail, so we have people using this test all over the world, wherever there are black people. You can take this test. Am I saying Ancestry is not accurate? Kelly, what I'm saying is look at the details. They have divided the continent of Africa. AncestryDNA.com has divided the continent of Africa into 9 regions, and they have 494 samples across those 9 regions. African Ancestry has 40 countries and 33,000 ethnic groups. 33,000, somebody sneezed and threw me off. 33,000 lineages from 40 countries and 400 ethnic groups. So it's just about how specific you want to be. If you want to know generally if you're African and then get a breakdown that gives you all these West African regions, then hey, if it's worth $99 to you for that, a history book will tell you that, Google will tell you that. But if you want specifics, then you need the biggest database you can find, and African Ancestry has the largest database of African lineages in the world. Okay, so tomorrow, can I explain what? The details we'll get. Okay, yes, I can explain the details. And go to our site, because there's actually a picture in the shopping area. If you click on any test, you'll see a picture of the results. But what we do is we tell you where you're from, what the answer is, the people, the ethnic group, if you're African. We don't know it's going to be African now. We trace ancestry. We don't know. And so If it's African, we'll tell you the people and the place. If it's not African, then we'll give you a haplogroup. Somebody asked earlier about a haplogroup. We'll give it to you, and we'll tell you whether it's Asian or Native American or Middle Eastern or European, whatever it is. You also get a certificate of ancestry that you can share with your important family documents, and you can share with other family members. Carl, yeah, you should get both. If you can get both, you should. It gives you a much more comprehensive picture. And then we have an online community, and so then you become a part of an exclusive community of Black people who have traced their ancestry. And there's over 500,000 of you all who have been impacted by this work over the past 14 years. And so you can share resources with those people on the forum. Thank you, Brandy. The price is $2.99, and again, I know y'all thought it was going to be like $1,000 or $2,000, but it's only $2.99. Okay, so tomorrow is Africa Day, and quite honestly, we usually miss Africa Day. We look up and it's like, oh, it's Africa Day, but so we're going to celebrate because we are ahead of the curve by a day, and we're going to have a contest tomorrow on Africa Day with a bunch of giveaways. So we're giving away t-shirts. We're going back in the archives. We got, I know this looks backwards, but it says African Ancestry blue t-shirts. We got beige t-shirts. I want to shout out to Sangu. Oh, look, perfect timing. See, we're connected, Sangu. I love you back. He's doing great work with the Continuum Project, actor and playwright Sangu Jikam. We're giving away head wraps for Africa Day. And then last week was a milestone birthday for me. Some of you all may have been watching when I had to say that to all of you, but I'm not going to say. Absolutely not. Okay, I have to stop. Do we share people's information with third parties? Never have. And we will not, we do not, we will not. When you send your DNA to us and we send it to the lab destroys it. Thank you, Brandy. The lab destroys it. And we don't sell or share any personal, genetic, or financial information. Okay, that was the PSA. Now I'm going back to my birthday. So it was my birthday. And I was supporting Black businesses for my birthday. So every thing I use, the caterer, the DJ, shout out to DJ Kimmett, he came from Atlanta and tore it up, the space, the Adinkra group, the caterer, Conscious Caterers, all my friends are Black business owners. And so for my party favor, I convinced Ebony Costain and Ujima Box to partner with me to give away a gift to my guests. And so this box is filled with my favorite items from my friends and colleagues who are Black business owners. There's a book in here, there's scents in here, there's wristbands and bracelets, it's a Maya Angelou book, because my friends at mahoganybooks.com, they ain't no joke. Body butter, all kinds of stuff in here. I said bracelet. I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff in here. And so tomorrow, the contest for Africa Day, you can win. Thank you, Jason, for the birthday wishes, and Brandy. You can enter to win the Gina Page birthday edition of the Ujima Box. So I hope you all will enter the contest and help me celebrate my birthday. Okay, so Esteban wants to know the best DNA test to do in addition to African ancestry for non-African ancestry. You should give us a call. Our number is 202-723-0900. 202-723-0900. And we can talk to you about that, because, you know, if you're looking for other types of ancestry, thank you, Carlos. If you're looking for other types of ancestry, then there may be other ways that you can get those answers besides DNA. DNA is not the end-all, be-all for understanding who you are. I see you say no family knowledge, but call us and we'll walk you through it. We have a great team in our office. Shout out to Kelly Bowman and Simone Jones and Cynthia Page, that's my mother, and Ty Brooks, who holds it down when she's not Facebook Live producing. She'll love to talk to you. She'll be trying to stay on the phone all day. So we can help you figure out what to do. And then I already mentioned family reunions. Just another plug for family reunions. It's about that time. And if you can get, Carl says it seems perfect to do on an older relative. You know, it really doesn't matter. The DNA doesn't change, and we'll talk about that next week. The DNA that we look at doesn't change over generations, and so you can do the oldest person or the youngest person. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so get ready for your family reunion. Get a kit now. We'll have your results soon. And thank you, Carla. And you'll have your results in about 6 to 8 weeks. I also want to give a shout out to our scientific director, Dr. Rick Kittles. He just got a new position in Los Angeles, so he's moving to Hollywood. And he's a founding director of the Comprehensive Cancer Center at the City of Hope in Los Angeles. So thank you for joining us. Tune in next week. Oh wait, a contest for the kids. Is that what you're reading? Yeah. We don't know when we're gonna have a contest for the kids. You gotta keep listening and be on our mailing list and all of that. So we do need help spreading the movement. Please do. Which company are your DNA results analyzed by? They're analyzed by AfricanAncestry.com. We have a team of leading renowned African American geneticists who do all of our analyses. No other company does our analyses. Okay, I gotta go do some work. But thank you. I look forward to talking to you all next week. Check us out on go to AfricanAncestry.com. That's how you can get on the mailing list up in the upper right hand corner. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care.